crackdown against gunmen, cattle rustlers, armed militants, as well as other restless militia groups in the country. The governors in their response have acknowledged the efforts of the federal government in trying to curb these activities. They've also agreed to collaborate further with the security agencies in dealing with these issues.
The National Economic Council meeting was presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Supreme Court has been approached for an interpretation of the Nigeria's deep oil revenue sharing contract between the federal government and oil exploration companies. This is to forestall a further loss of oil revenue by Nigeria and its infiltrating states. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo has the report.
Section 16, subsection 1 of the Deep Offshore and Inland Basin Production Sharing Contract Act imposes a statutory obligation on the federal government to adjust the share of the government of the federation if the price of crude oil at any time exceeds $20 per barrel. Realizing by this law that they too can be beneficiaries, 3 states of the Federation, Rivers, Bayelsa, and Akwa Ibom states, have now dragged the federal government before the nation's apex court, seeking an interpretation of that section, which will trigger the recovery of the nation's oil revenue.
So a ceiling, a cap was put in the enactment enabling these contracts to $20. In other words, in case it doubles up to, at the worst case. But if it should go beyond $20 a barrel, that even the 60-40 ratio in the contract shall now be reviewed.
Admitting that this is not a hostile case, counsel to the federal government says the government will need the input of its oil agencies to respond.
Our position as federal government of Nigeria is dependent on the information or details we get from our stakeholders in the oil industry.
The matter is now adjourned to November this year for commencement of hearing. Being a constitutional matter, 7 justices of the Supreme Court, led by Justice Rhodes-Bivo, are hearing the matter. The Supreme Court is yet again being called upon through the exercise of its original jurisdiction to salvage Nigeria, this time from its economic problems, since so far no one has thought it fit to trigger the use of Section 16, subsection 1 of the oil revenue sharing formula. From the Supreme Court, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
The controversy surrounding the missing documents relating to the 2017 appropriation bill, notwithstanding, Senate leader Ahmed Lawan is assuring Nigerians that there's nothing to worry about, as the Senate is determined to pass the budget in good time for implementation. He said this after an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari. State correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
The Senate leader, Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, was in the State House to confer with President Muhammadu Buhari on new as well as pending executive bills and requests before the National Assembly to enable him lobby his colleagues effectively for easy passage at plenary. Their discussions, held behind closed doors, lasted about 45 minutes.
There should be continuous engagement, continuous and sustained interaction between the executive side of government and the legislature, especially at the level we are. And that is essentially why I've come to see Mr. President, to ensure that I get my briefings right so that I can always market presidential and executive requests so well and so effectively.
Senator Ahmed Lawan used the forum to allay fears in some quarters that following the raid on the residence of Senator Danjuma Goje, who chairs the Senate Committee on Appropriation, further action on the 2017 budget is put on hold. He said although the process has been affected with the allegations of missing documents coupled with the trauma the lawmaker had to go through, work on the budget has not been suspended.
There is nothing to worry about. The National Assembly had intended to pass the budget actually in March, but because of some of the parameters that we had little or no control over, we couldn't pass it in March. It was our design and desire to pass it within this month, April, and all of you here know what happened. But the good news is we are doing everything possible to ensure that we catch up the lost time, and by the grace of God, I'm thinking by next week we should be able to finish our own work and pass the budget for Mr. President to sign.
President Muhammadu Buhari was also briefed by the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, on efforts at improving the arteries of development as critical sector of the economy.
The mandate is clear: fix the railways, fix the airports, ensure that the maritime sector works. And it's a huge approval that he had given on the maritime sector in terms of a new architecture of security. I can't say whether we're doing well or not, but I can say that we're fixing the railways. In the next 2-3 weeks, we'll be coming back to Federal Executive Council to seek approval to conclude negotiation with GE on the narrow gauge. Once that is done, what you will see by May 29th is that we'll begin to bring in coaches and locomotives that will begin to go at least at a very slow speed until we're able to improve on the tracks. The other thing happening is that the Lagos-Ibadan railway is already ongoing, so construction has commenced. What we're working hard on is to ensure that we focus on Kano, Kaduna, and Port Harcourt, Calabar. That we're looking for funds from the China Exim Bank. You're aware that Abuja Airport is operational now. We're going to focus again on the others. And finally, I'm sure that you're aware that, like the Vice President did announce at the AMA program, that we want to deal with the issue of piracy and security in our waterways.
Mr. Rotimi Amechi's meeting with the President lasted about 1 hour. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the presidency has assured Nigerians that despite the insinuations of a number of media organizations, there's no need for apprehension over the health of President Muhammadu Buhari. In a statement, the senior special assistant to the president, Garba Shehu, says President Buhari's absence at the Federal Executive Council meeting of Wednesday was a last-minute decision. Otherwise, the cabinet and the public might have been alerted in advance. As eager is up to be up and about, the president doctors have advised on his taking things slowly as he fully recovers from the long period of treatment in the United Kingdom some weeks ago. He says President Buhari himself, on his return to the country, made Nigerians aware of the state of his health while he was in London, and that full recovery is sometimes a slow process, requiring periods of rest and relaxation, as the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, intimated in his press briefing after the FAC meeting on Wednesday. The statement assured that President Buhari is not abdicated of his role as Commander-in-Chief of Nigeria, as he receives daily briefings on the activities of government and converses regularly with Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo. The change promised Nigerians by All Progressives Congress, APC, is evidently manifesting in various areas of the economy. This was the consensus of opinion at the public presentation of a book titled All Progressives Congress, The Making of a Change Agent, by the Special Assistant to the President on Prosecution, Okoye Obono Obla. Ilhazu Ali Yakubu reports.
Party members recall the hurdles crossed in a series of failed alliances and mergers of political parties with the aim of defeating a sitting government. They said the making of the APC, however, weathered the storm, despite severe difficulties to hamper the emergence of the party, which led to the eventual victory at the presidential elections in 2015. In his message, National Chairman of the APC, Chief John Odigi Oyegun, said the documentation of the making of APC will benefit children yet unborn.
One good thing about putting thoughts like this together is that it gives you an opportunity to put what happened on paper for posterity coming from your own perspective.
Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi and that of Communications Adebayo Shitu, as well as Niger Delta Affairs Osani Uguru Osani, said the change promised by APC has manifested basically in 3 areas, which include fighting insurgency, corruption, as well as economic diversification. The message of the book reviewer, Minister of Solid Minerals Kayode Fayemi, advised Nigerians and the rest of Africa to take advantage of the book for improved governance.
It is a research material that I think one recommends to everybody.
The author, Okoye Obono Obla, said he is fulfilled having participated in the making of the party, an eventual victory at the polls, and leaving behind a document to keep history alive.
Tomorrow, revisionists will begin to distort the story.
In Abuja, Ilyasu Aliyakubu, NTA News.
In another development, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has challenged information public relations practitioners to rise above board and contain those described as naysayers who see nothing good in governance, for the simple reason that they are not in government. The minister stated this at the annual national conference and general meeting of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations holding in Ilorin. Anthony Forson reports.
Describing the public relations practitioners as perception managers, the Information and Culture Minister said it is a tough and near impossible job that is further threatened by the vicious activities of operators of today's new media.
They could be friends today and opponents tomorrow. They're not interested in the vision of the government or the welfare of the people. They insist on being heard and seen.
He said their mode of operation has earned them a huge followership, a situation that is detrimental to society.
As a government spokesperson, you must not allow yourselves to be distracted. You must be proactive rather than be defensive. You must refuse to allow them to set your agenda for you.
Given the level of the proliferation of such unprofessional New World media practitioners, they have continued to dish out falsehood to the public, whose conscience have been eroded by these fake news dealers. Lai Mohammed said, irrespective of the platform upon which the government information managers operate from, such persons must be equipped with integrity, courage, capacity for hard work, ingenuity, resourcefulness, and the ability to think outside the box, as well as remaining incorruptible. Kwara State Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed, who was represented by the State Commissioner for Information and Communication, said Kwara State has leveraged on the efficacy of a robust information flow to design a development pattern for the state through revenue generation.
Use this conference to chart a way to using communication to promote new national values and positive behaviors.
Generate recognition and patronage and build very robust development and high level of sustainability that our great-grandchildren will meet, enjoy, and appreciate.
The minister performed the investiture of new fellows of the Institute. And Ilorin, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
To the National Assembly now, from where the Senate is to constitute an ad hoc committee to synergize with relevant stakeholders to critically examine ways of improving welfare of Nigerian workers. National Assembly correspondent Waziri Zayan reports that the resolution followed a motion moved by Senator Suleiman Nazif, APC Bauchi.
Following a point of order, Senator Suleiman Nazif described the 18,000 naira minimum wage as grossly inadequate, pointing out that something commensurate should be offered with a view to motivating the workers and curb corruption.
Government is meant to cushion the effect of hardship on its workers by paying great attention to their welfare needs.
In various contributions, some senators condemned the inability of most states to offset salary arrears of their workers in spite of the bailouts from the federal government.
Because of corruption, they don't get what they deserve. When it comes to welfare, they still suffer.
If allowances and other benefits are not paid to workers, one wonders where we should call for the productivity of workers.
Urge the government to specifically establish a surveillance unit that will ensure proper and timely delivery of all the necessary welfare packages to Nigerian workers.
Outside plenary, the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Mounting Humanitarian Crisis in the Northeast says its report is ready for submission. However, Chairman of the Ad Hoc Committee, Senator Shehu Sani, said the report will not contain the testimonies of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, David Babachir Lawal, on the allegations of financial misappropriation of a company in which he was allegedly directly involved.
We are here since 10 o'clock waiting for him, and it's now 12 o'clock. It's clear to us that he is not appearing. So as far as we are concerned, we will certainly go ahead and present our report.
In the meantime, members of the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees took their local government autonomy campaign to the National Assembly. They called for the entrenchment of accountability and efficient local government administration.
There must be credibility in the democratic process in the local government.
Chairman Senate Committee on State and Local Government Administration, Senator Abdullahi Gumel, addressed the workers and promised to extend the demands to the Senate. From the National Assembly, Wazir Zayan, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has passed for third reading a bill for an act to amend the Psychiatric Hospital Management Board Act. Legislators also passed for second reading a bill for an act to authorize the provision of free pre- and postnatal health care services to every pregnant Nigerian woman in government hospitals. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo has the report.
Early and regular prenatal care is the cornerstone of a healthy pregnancy. Therefore, access to such service should not be restricted in whatever form. This perhaps informed the decision of the members of House of Representatives to consider a bill that will ensure free provision of pre- and postnatal care for Nigerian women. The bill is sponsored by Representative Tony Woye from Anambra State.
Some pregnant women, even at birth, when they deliver their children at birth, cannot even afford the cheapest thing, which is immunization at birth, BCG.
A lot of these women shy away from going to hospitals because of the little amount they have to pay.
The issue of separation of powers resonated on the floor as members stressed the need for strict observance of the doctrine of separation of powers. This came in a motion moved by the minority leader, Leo Ogo.
And I think, we should take a holistic analysis of it in protecting the doctrine of separation of powers.
The very doctrine of separation of powers, which is the essence of presidential democracy.
Being the repository of the representative will of the Nigerian people to jealously guard and protect the supremacy of the Constitution.
The House resolved to investigate the alleged disappearance of some petroleum products valued at 11 billion naira belonging to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, moved by Representative Yusuf Tajuddin from Kogi State. Members condemned an attack at the residence of Senator Dino Melaye on the 15th of April 2017. Representative Etam Bora from Cross River State moved that the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, provide relief materials for the victims of electrocution at the Football Viewing Center in Calabar. The House observed a minute silence in honor of those who lost their lives in the incident and let Michael Akinjo, father of one of its members, Representative Victor Akinjo. The Chairman House Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Abdrazak Namdas, later briefed National Assembly correspondents on why Senator Danjuma Goje took some of the 2017 budget document to his house.
If you work on a document and you feel you are tired, you want to go home with some of this document and still work on it, there's nothing wrong in that.
He assured Nigerians that the National Assembly will strive to ensure that the budget is passed on record time. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Senior Special Assistant to the President in National Assembly Matters, Senator Etayenang, has confirmed that all items taken from the residence of the Chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriations, Danjuma Goje, in the course of police routine duties have been safely returned to the senator.
To confirm that further to the police routine duties, wherein they visited the residence of His Excellency Senator Danjuma Goje, that all the items that were taken from the house of the distinguished senator has been returned to him by the police in his house. Interacting with all the party distinguished senators after the return of the items, they are assured that this development will lead to a quicker, faster passage of the budget.
Senator Etayenang said all other issues relating to the subject matter have been addressed with a view for a positive resolution. He was also appreciative of the efforts of both chambers of the National Assembly towards ensuring the quick passage of the 2017 appropriation bill. Well, this is telling that you can watch this news online via the NTA mobile app which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. We'll now pause for some messages. Panorama continues after this time out. Stay with us.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
I'm glad to know you're still watching. The federal government has declared Monday, 1st of May as public holiday to commemorate the 2017 Workers' Day celebrations. This is in a statement by the director overseeing the office of the Permanent Secretary, Muhammadu Machido. Minister of Interior Abdurrahman Dambazo, who made the declaration on behalf of the federal government, congratulates Nigerian workers for their resilience, hard work and commitment to the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, despite the current challenges. Talking sports now, Nigeria Football Federation seals a 5-year deal to boost teams' qualifications as Nigerian Armed Forces gear up for its half marathon in Abuja Saturday. Tamara Biwe tells us more on sports update.
Following the signing of a 2.5 billion naira deal in Lagos Wednesday by the Nigerian Football Federation over the next 5 years, top echelon of football administration in the country say the sponsorship will aid national teams' qualification for future tournaments, as well as ease the debt burden on the part of the federation. In the bid to ensure successful hosting of the maiden Armed Forces and Security Agencies half marathon come Saturday in Abuja, about 100 technical officials from participating bodies inspected the routes marked for the race Thursday.
We've decided to ensure that all the participating organizations have representation in strategic areas throughout the route in conjunction with the Athletics Federation of Nigeria.
The swimming events of the ongoing Nigeria University Games ended in Abuja midweek, with University of Port Harcourt coming tops with 22 gold, 21 silver and 11 bronze medals. Benson Idahosa University trailed with 8 gold, 5 silver and 6 bronze, while Obafemi Awolowo University finished third with 3 gold and 5 bronze in the event, which had 6